Alrighty, we've started. Let's get this ball rolling. Loads of stuff to talk about this evening with Mark, fresh back from the photography show in London. Lots to talk about with that. Some new kit, which I didn't even know about. So, yeah, looking forward to this one. Do the usual, folks. I can see the usual suspects in the chat room there. Do me a favour, just drop it into the chat that you can see the countdown. You can hear me coming through loud and clear. And then that'll do my nerves a world of good. Hey folks, thank you so much for letting me know you can see and hear everything coming through. Great, thanks so much. Thanks a lot for that one. Good to see familiar names in there. I noticed Jay Grammon's in the chat room. Jay's going to be with us next week as next week's guest, so looking forward to that. What else we got? Tim Oliver's there. Tim, I liked your video to do with that OM. That was pretty cool. I reckon I need. Oh, hello. What's going on here? Oh, no, I reckon I need to extend that. Let's get rid of that. What's that there? Here we go. Gone. Blimey. Keep your hands off the buttons, Glyn. Folks, thank you so much for joining me. Great to be back for another live session. I had to play that little bit of rock music with that FJ800 there. That's the new light I'm using from Westcott. You went out with it the other day. It overpowered the UK sun, which might not sound too impressive, but it overpowered the Arizona sun, where Joel Grimes is, because he's using it as well. So, yeah, really happy with that one. And I know that Anthony, who's in the chat, he took delivery of one yesterday as well. So I had to play that video. Plus, the music gave me a little bit of a, bit of a jump. Right, folks, got a great one for you tonight. Looking forward to chatting to Mark. He's got lots to go through. I've got a list here. He sent over the. He is, without doubt, the most organised guest. Look at this. Look, he sends that over. Wow, loads of stuff to go through. We'll rattle through it in the hour, I'm sure. But before I bring Mark in, just to sort of say just a couple of things. Then, what's going on lately? Well, today is the day one of the Photoshop Creativity Virtual Summit. It's kicked off. I think as we speak, my first class, which is which one is it? The Warrior Project meets Photoshop of the Future, a compositing class I've put together with lots of extra things as well, extra little videos included. That one's gone live today. You can still get passes this week. If you want to grab one, that's the link. I've also put the link, rather. I've put the link in the chat room so you can grab those over there. So that was one thing to let you know about. Oh, yeah, pre-recorded video has gone out this week as well. That's this one. I had a lot of fun doing this one, retouching a picture I took of my car in South Wales using Lightroom Mobile on my iPad. Blows me away what we can do now with these mobile devices. I remember years ago when Adobe were talking about doing the editing mobile, and I was like, I'd never do that. No chance would I ever do that. And there I am. I'm really enjoying it. It's great for me. I say it in the video. It's a very constructive use of my downtime when I'm out and about. I can start to retouch something, then get back home, finish it off if I need to, job done. So it's really, I'm finding it great for that, making use of downtime. So that was one thing. Another thing I wanted to let you know about was yesterday. Yesterday, I was with my great friends, my Welsh family. Anthony, who's in the chat, you'll recognise this picture. That's us all there. I was with those folks yesterday. Anthony's wife, Elaine, has done a sterling job. She's been raising money for the Welsh Air Ambulance service. Unbelievable group of people that do an unbelievable job. And if anybody subscribes to my newsletter and also to Anthony's, you'll know why that's very special to us and what's going on there. Now, I'll just come over to my screen over here. I'm going to press this now. In the chat, I've now posted a link. If you don't know why I would share about that, in the chat, there's now a link that you can have a look at to see what it's all about. But yeah, she's raised some money for the Welsh Air Ambulance Service. And yesterday was like a coffee and cake afternoon with lots of friends and family coming. Incredible people, incredibly generous. Also, her GoFundMe, not a GoFundMe, her Just Giving page. Yesterday, she'd raised over £1,300. Just unbelievable. She set out to raise $250 and already she's raised $1,300. So hats off to everybody that has donated. Just incredible. With nowadays, the way things are, for people to be so generous is just mind-blowing. So that's that. And a personal one from me, subscribe if you don't already. It should say follow. I say it every week. It should say follow so it doesn't cost you a penny. Just click on subscribe. And hey, a click on the like button wouldn't hurt either. But there we go. Right, time to get the main man in. Let's work our way through this list. Right, let's just unmute him. I've changed the graphics. Let's go. Bring him in. Hello, Mark. Hey. Can you hear me?
I can. Hi, Glyn. How are you?
I'm very good, mate. Very good. I'm looking forward to going through this. I don't know what happened there with that little red bar coming up at the bottom. I hadn't. No idea.
Don't panic, please. You're in control of this one. I'm like, you know.
Well, duck on the water, mate. Trying to be, keeping calm on top and underneath, thinking, what the hell was that? But listen,
lovely to see you, though.
You too, but you too. Obviously, I didn't get to see you at the show. I had to change my plans. I was busy recording stuff. Managed to finish it all as the show was finishing, and that was it. But I shall be there definitely next year. But
right.
I'm looking forward to hearing about the show. But I know we've got a lot of stuff to cover beforehand. But I know that we'll probably talk about the show because you had your typical kind of show flu-y type
Yeah,
thing
illness.
as
Yeah, the
well.
TPS flu. That's obviously not a trademark or anything like that. Yeah, I think because we all work. Everyone there works so hard pre the show and at the show. It's
Yeah.
physically quite demanding on everybody, and then also in the evening, we have a big team. We're trying to look after everybody as well to make sure they're all fed and watered and looked after, and then you start it all over again, and that's on for obviously setup, pre-build, 5 days of the show, 4 days of the show, adding days there, and then afterwards, yeah, we don't switch off for another few days because we're auditing all the stock back. So everything we've taken, we're making sure we've got everything that we've sold and brought back to our warehouse, and eventually your body then slows down a bit, and and then you just get ill. Every year it's either sore feet or sore throat and whatever. But yeah, I'm getting there. So hopefully next week we'll get back to
with the feet. It's the double socks. Do you not double up on the socks? Because I was taught that years
no,
ago. Double up on the socks and your feet are fine.
I've tried everything, like insoles and
Right.
all different things, different flat shoes, curved shoes. No, it's just one of those trade show things you have to put up with, right?
It's the way it is. It is the way it is. All right. Well, listen, I know you've got, like I say, you've got a ton of stuff to go through here.
Yes.
We will get to the show. But, surprisingly, I didn't think this had happened so quick because obviously we were only chatting on here, a month ago, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and there's been new kit coming out in those 4 weeks.
Yep.
So should we just kick off and let's have a look at some of the kit then? So,
I mean, literally days
is the Lumix.
Yeah, days after we last chatted, we've got the new Lumix S1R2. Yeah, S1R Mark II. 44 million pixel sensor. This is from Panasonic Lumix. As you know, Panasonic are renowned for their video technology, and this is an update on previous models, similar in build quality, etc. But in terms of what's going on inside, now it does like 8K 30p. So we're only just getting over the 4K kind of technology in terms of quality, but this camera now can do 8K. So as you can imagine, with the sensor that's built into that, you've got 10-bit recording. And one thing that Panasonic have added to their cameras, I worked for them for 9 years ago, and predominantly their cameras have always been contrast autofocus. And in the last couple of years, they've added phase detection, which you normally find on full frame mirrorless cameras in the past from Sony, Canon, and so on. And Panasonic brought this back in, brought it into the range. And of course, that's going to increase, focus speed, accuracy, hit rate. So, this is a good hybrid camera with incredible built stabilization, 8 stops. Again, they're very good, like OM systems, very good at inbuilt stabilization. Those slow shutter speed, low light shots that you want to get handheld, those freeze that action. They're really, really, good in terms of that. And body and depends what you buy, around £3,000. So really good addition to the full frame range. Bit of competition in there for Canon, Sony, Nikon, and other full frame camera manufacturers as well. So yes, it's we've had some in-store days as well. So just to pick up on that, I think we did Bristol yesterday. We did a couple of other stores as well. And we've got Bath at the end of the year. Sorry, it feels like the end of the year sometimes. End of the month. We're still in March. We're not there yet. I think the 31st of March in Bath, we've got an install day where you can come and see a representative from Panasonic, and you get hands-on with the new camera. And if you're interested in buying it, and go to the store, and obviously you can have hands-on demonstrations with it. So yes, good release from Panasonic there.
Yeah, interesting what you say about the 8K there as well, because I mean, I know that I don't know if it was at this show, but certainly a recent show. I think your friend of mine, Ross Grieve, I think he was doing a talk.
Oh, yes, Ross.
About how he's taking stills from 8K that are using them as, stills from the 8K footage to use them as still images. I thought, oh, hello. But now 8K, the quality must be really
you can. If you remember, obviously film is made up of still images into a movie, and I think 4K photo years ago when I was promoting that with Panasonic, it was I can't remember, 8 million pixels, I think, or something like that. Per still in JPEG form. And I think when you get up to, higher resolution like 8, I think, you can get 33 million pixel stills or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but, you can see why Ross pushes that technology
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
you know, if you want to use high resolution video to take stills from, and I always used to remember, they're not screen grabs, they're actual individual
Yeah.
stills from
Mm.
movies. So yeah, it works. Yeah, good plug
Yeah,
there for
I think if I remember
Panasonic
rightly, we were
technology.
doing something very similar a few years ago now. You and myself, when you came down to North Devon, we were on a beach and you were filming in, I don't know if it was 8K or 4K, but the stills you were getting off the
Yes, it
camera
was.
then were
Yes,
like,
yeah,
whoa,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
was
So
only small snippets, but yeah, it was
yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
very
Good,
cool.
good,
Good
good, good
stuff.
way to use your camera. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, so that's the Lumix S1R2. Sony have been busy with some new kit as well then, so let's just bring up what we've
Yeah,
got here with Sony.
new lens. So those Sony users that are out there that are familiar with the 200 to 600 millimeter lens, I remember years ago seeing that come out, working for them. This is a very similar lens in build quality. So you've got all the internal optics internally. You don't extend the lens anyway. So it's really incredible how they've managed to get all that technology in one barrel of lens. So now this is a 400 to 800 millimeter
Wow.
focal length. So you start using the converter 1.2 two times, crop mode, you're talking over 1,000 millimeters. And I haven't actually tested this product myself. I know my colleague Peter has had hands on with this and has said it's very, very good in terms of lightweightness and handheld. So you can handhold this kind of lens, whether it's for wildlife and sports and so on. But whether you use a tripod or not is entirely up to you. But in terms of the way they build these lenses, it's less heavy at the front than it is at the back. It weighs around I think 2.5 kilos, something below that.
All right.
f6.3 to f8. And obviously you've got all your inbuilt in stabilization, 105 millimeter filter size. And what we always forget with these lenses, they're always very good at the tele end, but they've also got very good close focusing. So I think this one's about 1.7 meters. So, you can actually focus into closer up than just using it tele zoom. So
That's almost the
pre-order
length of
that
the
actually.
lens itself, isn't it?
Yeah,
1.6
yeah,
look pretty big.
yeah, it'd be interesting to do a bit of macro on that one. But again, price point, you're looking at around 2.5 grand. So,
Oh,
actually in
okay.
terms of lens price, value, then actually it's quite good value for me. It's obviously expensive, but 2.5 grand for that kind of lens is actually very, very good.
Yeah.
So, good addition to Sony. And they've also brought in another lens, more to the wide angle element here. So this is 16 millimeter, 1.8. It's a G lens, not G Master, so it's not as high quality, but I've got to say the G standard lenses are very good.
Yeah.
They're very sharp. Looks great on the A7. I think it's the A7C, one of the more retro modern cameras that Sony brought out. 11 blade aperture, so you're going to get some really creative background bokeh, etc. And it uses linear motors as well, which is a renowned technology for Sony. Make sure it's fast, it's accurate, but also silent, so you're going to get those that accuracy with even a very wide angle lens. Probably, again, I haven't tested it. These kind of lenses have very little, if any, distortion to it, so good for architecture, landscape. And again, depends what kind of portraiture you're looking for, but I would have thought it makes a kind of good portrait lens as well. So yeah, that was these kind of lenses. We get to find out about them quite late on. And when they do hit the market, I think they'll do really well for our customers and those looking to buy into that range.
Yeah.
So yeah, good additions to Sony.
Cool. And I can vouch for what you said there as well. It isn't a G Master, but still that G, and I've used the G lenses, they are still pretty damn good, pretty sharp. So yeah, definitely a good lens
Yeah,
to have.
they are, and also you have they're quite lightweight. Build quality is
Mm.
getting a lot better since some of the early ones 10 years ago. So from that point of view, yeah, very, very, very good quality and great focal length, and they keep adding to it. So yeah,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
good
yeah.
addition from Sony. Yeah, good.
Cool. Now, I don't think it was at the show, was it? But certainly, was it immediately after the show, whatever, there was a big announcement from
Well, it was this
Fujifilm.
week, yeah.
Yeah, this week. So yeah, this is the one I'm intrigued about. I don't think it's for me because it's got a fixed lens on it. However, I can definitely see where this would be, really something for people who are into maybe street photography or whatever. Just an amazing bit of kit. So yeah, this one here then, Mark, that came out this week.
Yeah, GFX 100 RF. So if you are familiar with Fujifilm cameras, and you know about the smaller, lighter X range, then of course they do the GFX range medium format. And they've adapted this range quite considerably over time. Obviously, interchangeable lens, but now they've brought out their fixed lens. I've got to say, I've spent a bit of time in the last year at LCE with doing events with Fujifilm, and I've had an opportunity to try the GFX cameras and lenses, and they are
Yeah.
in terms of quality, the
Yeah.
resolution incredible, and the
Yeah.
lens range, excellent. But now to bring out this fixed camera with I'm just trying to remember where it was, 35mm f4
Yes.
lens. You've got lots of aspect ratios on there as well, which I think is quite creative in terms of what you can get out of it. I've seen some demonstrations online as well around and videos where they can, they've done a lot of landscapes and stuff. I think it was out in Prague recently. They had their Fuji 𝐞𝐞 event, which was, very, very popular and very, very well attended. This is available to pre-order already as well. It's in silver and black. It's around £4,600. So actually, from a GFX perspective, in terms of price, that's really reasonable. And if you then, compare it to other cameras that are at that price range from other manufacturers, actually, this is really quite a competitive price, but it's very stylish. I
It is
love the flat
gorgeous, isn't
retro
it?
modern feel. Yeah, absolutely. The very kind of minimalistic front as well. It's got all the key features that you associate with Fujifilm in terms of quality. And that fixed lens, I think it's an equivalent of 28mm full frame. So, you've got 4K 30p recording, video, 4210-bit as well. It's a good color grading. It weighs, I think, 735 grams. And when I was doing some research, the GFX 100 Mark II weighs 950 grams. So actually, it's a considerable difference in weight
Wow.
there. But like I said, it's a fixed lens, so you can't take it off. But I think in terms of street, you could use this for anything, because what's going on
Yeah.
with that sensor inside, in terms of resolution, low light, etc., is excellent. So I think this is going to be a good seller. And
Yeah,
if,
absolutely. Yeah.
if those customers we met over the last year, certainly the time I've had at LCE, then I think this will be right up their street for adding to their range. So yeah,
Yeah.
lovely looking camera, really good.
It is, and just looking at the chat room here, that definitely is like straight away. Lee Churchill, I love the look of that Fuji.
Yeah,
Straight away, you can see it,
it's got
and
something, right?
it's really nice looking. I love that look. And
Yeah.
one here from Tim Oliver has put beautiful camera, even fixed that 102 megapixel sensor, allows for crazy
Yeah.
cropping to get rid of any field of view. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
so much
and that
versatility in
that
that.
yeah, that aspect ratio element that you can change, I know some cameras got that anyway, but the fact is you've got all that data to play with in terms
Yeah.
of resolution, and you can do it in camera, which I think, when I've used an A7R Mark V in the past, and, you can crop in camera when you're using, say, a long telephoto lens, but with this being fixed, actually you could do quite a lot more in camera. And then you've got all those, film simulation modes as well that you'd associate with Fujifilm. And yeah, I just think what a great, creative, great looking camera, with a medium format sensor. So yeah, well done Fujifilm. I like that.
Absolutely, yeah. That's definitely, you could feel the buzz this week when that was announced. So yeah, very cool. So some interesting kit there. Definitely interesting kit. Blimey, there's going to be some loose, empty wallets coming up this week. I know there is. But so that's the kit then. And I'm sure that's just going to continue now as we go through the year. I mean, next time you come on, there'll be even more stuff to talk about. But it's exciting, really exciting to see how things are moving on. But that's a beautiful camera. Right, should we move on to news then? Because obviously
Yes,
the reason
one
was
big.
to get you back following the photography and video show, which this time was in London. So I'm just
Yes.
intrigued. So tell us about your experience there then, Mark, because obviously prior to this year, it for many years it had been at the NEC in Birmingham. But this year, bit of a change. And obviously your first time being there with LCE. So tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about it.
Well, you're absolutely right. So for those that are not familiar with the photography show, it's been going on for a long time now. I think this is my 15th, maybe 16th photography show that I've done in the time that I've worked in the photo channel. In the UK and Ireland photo channel, that is. The photography show is traditionally held in Birmingham at the NEC. So this is a trade show that is probably the biggest trade show we do as a retailer and manufacturers in the UK. I'm not sure if it's one of the biggest in Europe. Probably is. I wouldn't want to say it's the biggest in Europe because there's a lot of trade shows out there that obviously cover quite a lot of big audiences. But it's certainly our highlight of the year. As you can see there's the team. That's our team that we took to London this year. So this year, they've alternated the show from Birmingham to London. And then next year, 2026, it'll go back to Birmingham and back to London and back to Birmingham, so on and so on. So it's quite an unusual way of doing it. And of course, it's the show that you need to be at. This is our stand. So this is some of these shots are in the mix when it was open and also just beforehand. And you can see for us, it's a proper trade show. We're there with a number of other retailers. There's 2 other UK retailers there. And there's other resellers there as well, where we're selling our products. But it's an amazing opportunity as well for us to showcase who we are, what we're about. And for a London Camera Exchange, we have 30 staff there, includes our MD, it includes our CEO, my fellow director, my fellow sales director, and all store managers, store staff. We all mix together. We've got people that are really experienced at different brands and different processes and so on. We have an accessory corner. You can see here it's dedicated to tripods, bags, SD cards, everything. So we pretty much have lifted up our business and dropped it in on this occasion to London. Traditionally over the years, we've seen 30,000 people back in 2000, over 30,000 people in 2019, right up to where we are now. So great opportunity to come to the show, meet the staff, buy kit and so on. And of course, people come to get inspired as well through talks and seminars, and it's a great meeting point to network, and it's the highlight of the year for a lot of manufacturers as well as retailers.
Cool. Well, if you're all right, obviously, because I wasn't there, like I said to you at this very start, and you knew this anyway, my plans had to change kind of last minute, so I couldn't make it up. I was due to be there to do a couple of things, but I want to just ask you a little bit about it, because I am intrigued, because ordinarily, like I say, it's been at Birmingham for many, many years. I'm just intrigued to know, did you notice a difference with it? First of all, with it being London, did it feel different being at London? And also, I suppose as well, one thing I'm intrigued to know about is, because I didn't experience it, I wasn't there walking around. Did you notice anything strikingly different between maybe numbers, people, how many people were there? I'm just intrigued to know how busy it was, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's a great show to be at, and the organisers do a fantastic job putting it on. Going to London is obviously going to be a lot of background conversations. So everywhere, you look at the forums that in the build-up, there's a lot of people saying they weren't going to travel and so on. But, when the doors opened, it was thousands of people that attended. So immediately you're ready to go, and we engage with from the start. The numbers were considerably down on previous years, we have to say that. And whether or not that's London or other aspects, I think, you've got to remember it's in a part of the country that's not been at before. So of course, you're not going to get your regulars. Although we did see quite a few people that obviously shop with us. So what's encouraging is we saw a lot of people as well that don't normally shop with us. Some of those people bought, but a lot of people didn't buy as much as they would say in terms of maybe because they didn't know what was going on at the show in terms of the ability.
There is something I want to ask you about that, because there was something I noticed leading up to the show over the weeks prior that I want to see what your kind of feel about it is. But we'll talk first of all about the numbers of people there. I would have expected in a way that numbers would have been different and lower anyway, because it's London. Do you know what I mean? And you would generally hear that people are going, I can't get to London, because London is, I guess, is kind of viewed as being an expensive place to go, not just to travel to, but for parking and public transport. But I think on the Sunday, there was issues with travel anyway. What I would have used would have been the Elizabeth line. I think there are issues with the Elizabeth line, so maybe that would have had an impact, maybe.
Well, you got to remember, when you're at the show, actually, you don't really... Apparently, it was sunny as well. We didn't get a chance to see any of that. We're breathing in air-conditioned trade show. We were there at 8. We've fit it. Get outside. It's dark. It's like, wow. And you've done I don't know how many hours day. But look, the great thing is we all had fun, and working together as a team. We had some fantastic times. We had a good laugh. But seriously, we were there to obviously serve customers. I think in terms of what was going on externally, the organisers can't be blamed for things like that. It happens. But what I will say is that, the customers that we did engage with were quality. Whether or not they bought or not, what we did discover was the ability to put ourselves on the map, and those customers that weren't aware of ourselves, let alone the show, they'd not been there before. I remember talking to a customer that came down from Hertfordshire, and they'd walked into a local store and they'd found out that it was going on. They got on the train, but they could only get a certain train they needed to get because the pricing was slightly more expensive. So they were time limited on their train, but they did come, because obviously if they stayed a bit later, it would have cost them more. But they did come down, but they didn't realize they could buy. So that was a bit of a frustration in a sense that, okay, maybe if the marketing was slightly different in terms of being more favorable to retailers, and what I don't mean by being specific by one or two retailers, but actually telling people, there, come here, buy at the show.
You've kind of preempted what I was going to ask you there, mate, because that's one of the things I wanted to ask you, to see if what I'd noticed and other people I've heard mention it as well. Because when I look at the advertising for the photography show, when normally, it's at Birmingham, I'm kind of aware who's going to be there when it comes to retailers, because you kind of see it being mentioned. You do get to hear about speakers. But one thing I felt with this, because I've done the event in America, Adobe Max, when it's a predominantly it is a event that you go to learn. Do you know what I mean? There's speakers, there's classes, there's sessions, lengthy sessions, there's photo walks and all that kind of stuff going on. One thing I noticed, certainly with the Instagram, because I don't really notice much on the Facebook, I'm trying to avoid Facebook, but the Instagram kind of side of things, the reels that were coming out from the folks from the photography show, it did seem to be heavily towards who's speaking.
The stands. The stands were very busy.
Sorry.
The manufacturer stands, we were opposite Fujifilm, always very busy. The Fujifilm team, Sony team, Canon team, Nikon, they're all very good at engaging. If I miss anybody, at OM and so Sigma, they were, there's so many great, representatives of the brand out there, whether they're trainers and field teams, so on. They'd say they were very busy, and we saw that. There were lots of really good ambassadors and advocates, and those kind of content creators, photographers, videographers that were speaking on behalf of the brands. I remember going over to the Sony stand and seeing, and the Canon stand as well, seats full. Everyone's full. What we may not have seen was those people then going straight to the retailers, and that's no fault of the brands or anything or manufacturers like that. I think there was just that maybe lack of awareness that once they did find a retail, oh look, massive big stand selling kit, that
did
maybe
that seem
they
like
didn't
a surprise to them then?
Yeah, but it wasn't just that. It was also the fact that they could have got those fantastic offers, show offers. So probably didn't budget or put some cash aside. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it wasn't like dead and it was doom and gloom. Actually, it wasn't. If we look at what the attendance and how we engage with the audience, then it's been very good for everyone that attended. But I think there was quite an emphasis more on the creativity side, which is great because we want to inspire people. But maybe slightly lack of focus towards the fact that you could actually buy. And not only that, you had 3 choices of key UK retailers there as well. So not just one, and then each retailer had various offers that they could cater for who was attending. So it wasn't a negative thing, but it didn't certainly have the feel that you knew when those doors opened at Birmingham. Everyone was there for a good deal, and they would have gone for a bit of inspiration, but they knew they were going to come back and buy. And so yes, and that's right. And but saying that, Canon products were very popular, Sony products, Nikon, OM customers, saw a lot of them. I don't know if that's a London thing or just great marketing. I don't know, but OM cameras in terms of camera users. We saw a lot of those, lots of accessories as well, so bags, SD cards, tripods, that kind of stuff.
We'll talk
So,
about that in a minute then, because before you're racing ahead here.
Sorry, am I? Sorry.
Listen, you gave me your list. I've got my itinerary. All right?
I haven't got a special list here.
You mentioned, I want to just quickly, because in the week when we spoke just very briefly on the phone, one thing you didn't kind of go into detail, but what was interesting to hear, the numbers are the numbers. Do you know what I mean? It's great. Yeah. It's great to hear that retailers, you had people there. There was a lot of buzz going on around, new kit being announced, and what have you. But one thing you kind of hinted, because we had a very brief conversation, that it was noticeably a different audience.
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
So, yes. So over the weekend, very much families. Okay. So a lot of younger people, very diverse audience, very inclusive, which is brilliant. It's what we want to see in this industry, actually. But a lot more female photographers, a lot more female presence, rather than the traditional, kind of, photography person that you would expect at a show. So from that point of view, it was really engaging to see, a completely new audience compared to, say, Birmingham. The Monday and the Tuesday was more familiar with what we see at Birmingham, and probably in terms of turnover, probably had better days those 2 days as well. But it was one of those. It was difficult because normally over time you kind of know who comes Saturday, who comes Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. This was very much all over the place. So hopefully the organisers going forward for this show in 2 years' time will have a better understanding of who we're talking to. But like anything else, it's the first show. So now we know because we've done the first show. I think that's really encouraging, and I think everyone that is key to that show needs to build on that, and
I think
make sure we keep attracting that audience.
It's very interesting to hear what you say there then about the actual demographic of people that were there, because it is like you kind of say there. For historically, photography has been a very male-dominated environment, and
it has.
There's a lot of stuff been happening over recent years when there are more female photographers that are being pushed forward, and rightly so. Do you know what I mean? Because listen, one of my favourite photographers ever, Annie Leibovitz. Do you know what I mean? But I know there was, there was one lady I know who actually she's based in London, but I met her in San Francisco when I was in Adobe last October. God, scary how quick it's gone. Jamel, she was there. Jamela set up the Black Female Photographers Group, and I saw that she was there doing a talk. So that's great to see. It's great to see that, and you mentioned it's a more diverse audience as well. Great. But what I'm really interested to hear is that you say the audience was younger. Now, my thoughts are, why? Because it was London, were they younger people who came from London and surrounding areas? Or was the marketing done differently, which meant that younger people came? And if so, it would be great if that continues.
I think
for a younger audience as well to be in Birmingham.
Yeah, I think there's a mixture of both there. I really do. I think that the location and the marketing was I think different in terms of what we've seen in the past. And I think I commend the manufacturers as well in terms of representation on their stands in terms of female photographers and traditional male photographers and so on. So it was good to see an increase actually in nearly everywhere we looked in terms of advocates and talks, and then that's reflective as well of the audience. And so I thought that was a very key strong point. It's as a retailer, then you've got to. I'm not just speaking on behalf of our company here, but or everyone that's trading there. You've got to adapt your business to accommodate, different audiences. And I think if you're going into a show, with your blinkers on, just focusing on what you traditionally sell to, then that could be quite difficult. So I think going forward for more so this show in maybe 2 years' time, there's an opportunity here to really look at what we've inherited. And created as a trade show, because we all have a part to play here, and look at ways we can build on that for next year in NEC. And if those customers that have attended this year of that new audience that are like, oh, I like this photography show, then it's clearly important that the organisers have to keep focusing on that, pushing that market further up from London to Birmingham, and who knows, it could be, again, we could be, we haven't gone back to the audiences of 30-40,000 since pre-COVID, so it'd be great to be able to return to those type of audiences, over the next few years. We're all support that.
Interesting comments coming in here, which is great comments actually, to be honest with you. There's some lovely stuff here, like Tim Oliver, surprising, he's put here. Actually, one great thing about OM is there are so many female OM ambassadors and photographers in general, a very diverse group of creatives. Interesting. When we talked about, I think it was when we talked about, being diverse, younger audience as well, George Smith happened to put in this comment here. So I'm guessing that was what, George, you're referring to there, which is good. And quite rightly, Lee Churchill's put here, you want to encourage the next generation of photographers. Absolutely you do. You 100% you do. So, yeah. Oh, Steve Healy, I've got to put this up here. There's some of us old blokes with OM as well.
I mean, it's a good point, but don't get me wrong, right? We saw some, very loyal and great people at the show that we've seen before, and they continue to shop with us and other retailers and so on. It's just great to be able to bring in something new, and hopefully that can continue. So
absolutely,
it's good to be there.
Well, there is more that kind of happened at the show. Let me have a look here. Oh yeah, there's a couple of things. There's some kind of award that LCE got. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. We won one of the retailer excellence awards. Look at that handsome man there. Look, there we go.
Hey, he polishes up well, doesn't he?
Hey, yeah. Oh, yeah. The award does. Yeah, very good. So this is a good service award.
Wow.
From readers of Amateur Photographer magazine, and that's awarded to retailers across the UK. So we're very honoured to be able to win that award again as well this year, alongside other retailers as well that were selected. So that was good. An unusual one again. We normally have that awards a couple of weeks in advance of the photography show, TPS. This time it was on the Monday, which was quite difficult. So because obviously it's one of our last nights together as a team, the team went off and had a meal, and I did my utmost to get back, which I did. Managed to get back late and had a couple of beers with the team before we went to bed, and then back in at early hours again the next day. So yeah, that's very good. Thank you for mentioning that. Nice picture. Thank you.
There you go. But just all right. So just quickly then, one thing else I've asked you about the audience, which I was genuinely intrigued about that, and I'm curious as to how the show have brought that younger audience in, which is interesting. But I wanted to know, we've talked about kit that's already been introduced, new kit that's come out since the show and during the show and what have you. One thing I wanted to ask you about, and I mentioned this when you were last on, I would be very interested to know at the show, what is it that sells well? What brands seem to be kind of getting the focus? And, you've got the brands that were getting the focus. What was it that was getting the focus? What kit? Was it cameras? Was it lenses? What is? So can you give us a bit of a lowdown on that? What did you notice regards to brands and things that were being bought?
So accessories, very popular. So again, tripods, bags, some cracking deals actually on the accessory side of things, SD cards, hardware, storage, that kind of stuff. Also brand wise, it is pretty much as you would expect in terms of popularity. Mirrorless cameras, obviously, Canon, Nikon, Sony, in terms of full frame cameras. Then you're looking at lenses. So lens, what we call lens attachment. Obviously, somebody's bought a camera over time. We'd be looking for them to buy into the lens range. So those that have got older mirrorless cameras, you'd see them trading in maybe the old models, say R5, Canon R5 to R5 Mark II. Again, very popular models across the whole of the show. And what's important to that customer is obviously trading in maybe something they can purchase new lenses. So we see quite a lot of say DSLR users that are using old legacy lenses with maybe an adapter for the new mirrorless kit, and they're eventually getting to that point now with maybe they've saved enough money, or the deal is right to be able to dump the in a good way, that is the adapter, and go fully native. And I know we talked about this previously before about what happens to that kit. So customer comes in and brings in the old R5 or an old DSLR lens, I don't know, 2870 f2.8, something like that, and that monetary value goes towards the new kit, and they walk away with a nice shiny box and they go and play with their new kit. But what actually happens to the trading stuff, and I know we picked up on this in the last chat, but literally it comes in one end of the stand. Our team grade it, evaluate it, give a price to the customer. It's then out the back, it gets cleaned, it gets,
this is that cabinet, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so the other side of the event. Can you bring up some of those photos again of the stand?
Here we go. Yeah.
So just to the right of that picture, go back to that one.
I think we've got a closer one of that. There you go. How's that?
Yeah.
Right?
So you come in this way, you meet the team. There's Matt there, and who's that? I can't recognize that. Oh, that's Tom. And you have a chat with them, and they give you a price, and then you do the exchange, you get the kit you want, and then there's a door there, and you go out. You can't obviously show you what goes behind the scenes, but if you press another one of the images, you go, I think the accessory corner, I think one of
let's have a look here.
Yeah, keep going. There we go. So that whole length of the stand there internally, it's amazing. When I first joined LCE last year, and I had my first show as as a member of the team. It's incredible. So it starts kind of from the right hand side. Gareth there is checking it out inside, and you make sure it's all ready to resell. We put a price on it, and then to the left of the stand, there's a cabinet right at the end. I don't know if you could go through another image.
I'm going to zoom through. I'll see what I can do, but I'm not sure what we've got.
See what you can do.
No,
stop there.
All right,
go back to that. Yeah. So to the right of this image, which is the back of the last one, there's a cabinet, and when we start it off, it's empty, and then by the time we finish the show, it's full, or kind of has been full for a couple of days, and then goes down, and then comes back again. So, and then when the kit's then brought back into the business, we redistribute that back out to the stores, and we offer that kit to a local level to customers. So it's quite a good recycling element of it. Obviously, we don't take anything that we don't feel that we can sell, or it might have fungus in the lens or anything like that, or it might not be of much quality to the customer. But it's a full recycling, and we do that at the show, which is what we do at stores as well. So trading was popular as well, and across the board, people bringing in DSLR. And what we're seeing now, as the DSLR market starts to shrink a little bit, we're seeing more of the older mirrorless cameras now. Maybe, I don't know, an A7 II, III, maybe a 4 as well that's been exchanged for an A7 R5 and so on. So it's just the way the cycle works, but it's quite an interesting you can go there for an amazing deal in terms of pristine kit, but also you could go to these shows and get a great deal on secondhand gear as well. So
do you ever I'm intrigued about that trading, because I didn't, until we'd spoken last time, I didn't even know, stupidly, when you consider the name of the company, London Camera Exchange, I didn't know that you did that. Do you know what I mean? So I'm glad that we got that out in the open, because I wasn't unaware of it. But I'm intrigued when it comes to this trading that you do, certainly at the shows. Do you ever find people literally turning up with a bag full of that brand of camera that they've been using for years, wanting to then trade it in to then move over to another brand, literally bringing everything in?
You do, and people will come there for that reason. We've seen it a lot in the last year, and actually going forward this year, we're going to be doing specific events, which I'll come on to a bit later, in terms of bring your old kit. We'll evaluate it for you. If you stay within the journey of the old kit for the new kit, then you're highly likely going to get an increased level of support in terms of what your camera's valued, rather than just taking the cash, which you can do as well. And we do see a lot of customers wanting to buy the latest model and offsetting that with their older model, because there's always somebody that maybe can't, or maybe don't want to go for the newer model, latest model, quite happy to buy the model previous, which you get a good good value for second hand. So, it's and we're not obviously the only retailer that does this, but we built this over time, and we do this daily at our stores and online as well.
Cool. All right. Well, seems like the show, different numbers down, but a different audience,
show.
which is definitely a positive. Fingers crossed that different demographic as well migrates to the show next year in Birmingham.
Yes.
So that'll be interesting to see. But no, interesting. And the brands as well. So like I say, generally the usual suspects, Canon, Nikon, OM, Sony as well, kind of there. But initially the Canon, the Sony, the Canon, the Nikons, the OMs doing really, really well. So interesting. All right, brilliant stuff. All right, well, let's have a very short break. I could do with a bit of a slurp. I no doubt you could, because you've been sort of giving us loads of information there. Let's have a very quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about events. There's some events that we've got. That was one of the things that people were really surprised about last time you were on, was that sociability of the company with those coffee and camera mornings and all those kind of things. Yeah. So we'll talk about what's coming up, and of course the soon-to-be Southwest Photography Show, Southwest Photo Show. So let's have a quick break. I will mute you, so don't worry about any sounds in the background. I'll play a quick ad, and then we'll be back with you. So I shall be with you in a moment. Wow, lots to digest. I'm really gutted that I didn't get to the show, but very exciting. For somebody who, like myself, who's definitely involved in like the education side of the photography world as well. It's really interesting and exciting to hear that there's a younger audience and a different audience coming into the mix, which is great. So yeah, interesting times ahead, I think. Let's play a quick ad, and then we'll get Mark in to talk about some events that are coming up, and obviously the Southwest Photo Show, the very first of its kind, happening in May, which is coming around really quickly. Let's play that quick ad, and we'll be back. These adverts always finish quicker than I expect. Well, just to say, obviously, with that BenQ one, I had a couple of emails this week with people saying that they were taking me up on that offer that I can pass out a discount code. So anybody, anywhere, wherever you are, if ever you fancy taking a look at the BenQ range, just drop me an email, because I can get you a code which could get you a 10% discount. So that's always worth knowing. Right, Mark's unmuted. Let's just bring him back in.
Hello.
Cool. I don't know if you've been looking at the chat room there, Mark, but there's some quite funny comments, actually. Right, so let's have a look here. So
what have you got?
let's just bring a company. Let's look here. Right, Lee Churchill. Obviously, we're talking about the show. I brought my daughter with me last year, and she really enjoyed it. All my kids, bar one, has done photography at school now, and it's thanks to people like myself, Mark, and all the fabulous people. That's really kind of you, Lee. Thank you very much. But
very
great to hear that, Lee's kids are taking on the photography, and they can hopefully carry on that through. So that's really cool to hear. He also says, congrats on the award. Anthony has put, can I trade in my old, non-branded, unreliable strobe lights? Asking on behalf of Elaine. Okay.
Ooh, right. Get in touch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, righto. Lee, can I trade in the photographer, not the camera? Right, okay. It's all going on. Oh, well, Lee Churchill, actually, there you go. I've done that, chopped all my Sony A200 kit in for my Canon stuff with LCE years ago.
Great.
Cool.
Keep it going.
Very good to hear. Very good to hear. All right. Well, and also George Smith, good old George. Discount works great for BenQ. Nice to hear. Right, lovely stuff. Let's have a talk about events then.
Yes.
Where do you want to kick off with events then, Mark? Because I've got some of your stuff lined up.
Yeah, I think when we met last time, we talked about what was going on potentially throughout the year, certainly
Yes.
over
Yeah.
the next 6 months. So I think it'd be good just to focus on what's coming up in the next month. We do have
All right.
quite a
Well,
lot. There's some
I'll bring
cracking
those
things.
slides up then, if you like.
Yeah,
So let me bring. I'll bring those up in turn. There we go. So we've got this
yeah,
one
brilliant.
first of
So
all.
we mentioned this earlier. We've got the last couple of install days. I think yesterday was Bristol, Bath coming up. So if you want to try out the latest new S1R2, they'll have those products there as well. Get to meet the team as well, and there'll be other Lumix kit on hand as well. We've also got some Fujifilm install days coming up. There we go. So the new GFX 100RF, hot off the press this week. With the latest release, the Fujifilm team, there's a small amount of stores that will be listed on the website already. So when that went live this week, we went live with the days, and these will be first look hands-on with the new Fujifilm kit. Again, visit our website for those days as well.
Cool. I'll take
What
you
else have
through
we
the
got
slides
there?
that I've got him out. So we've got
Yeah.
these ones here.
Yeah, so a number of coffee and camera days. So some of them are branded, so i.e. we're working with some brands, and the others are actually come and meet the team. So come and meet the team, talk about used equipment, find out more about what we've just discussed. If you don't know how or how it all works, and you've got some kit lying about that you're looking to maybe offset to new kit, come and talk to the team. And I think, what's this store we got there? We've got Southampton Civic store. There's a couple of others as well. I think we've got come and meet the team kind of day. Bristol, there we go. So these are all free events, free coffee for a couple of hours. Some of them may be a bit longer. So again, visit our website, and more of a community feel here. And feel welcome to meet the team and ask questions, that you may not get a chance to do online.
Cool. So we've got here.
Yes, so Michelle from Canon, one of their key field team, will be down in, I think it's Southampton High Street. They're going to be, she's going to be down there talking about Canon gear as well. So in terms of Canon cameras and lenses and so on. And I don't know if you saw the teaser announcement recently. By the time we get a chance to talk, there'll be potentially something else that Canon have announced this week as a teaser. I think that's coming in the next few weeks. So Michelle might be able to shed some light on that as well. So yes, good. And you don't normally get a chance to meet these guys from the brands as well. Normally, when you do get to see them, they're at big trade shows, and actually don't get much time to see them because they're so busy. So great opportunity to meet the brand representatives as well. And there's Winchester. This is another one. We're going to be talking about binoculars and drones and all types of things at Winchester. So again, free coffee. If you want to register your interest, you got a chance to, not free products, obviously, but free coffee, free advice. It's worth going if you're in that area. Pop in and meet the team as well.
Cool. There's a couple of extra ones here. I might have doubled up on this one here. That's that one. There you go.
Yes, so we've got so the photo works with Fujifilm kick off literally in the next couple of weeks. There's 26 stores in our high street stores, 26 of them. We've got 26 photo walks across the UK. They're all different sessions as well. And this is a chance for small intimate photo groups of 8 people. They get a chance to loan free Fujifilm kit. If you're a Fujifilm user, you can bring your own kit as well. And Carol here is one of the field team. There's 3 or 4 of them going around the UK where you're able to follow them, get hands-on, quite nice one-to-one sessions as well, learn how to use the cameras and also get some tips and tricks. And these are £10 per session as well. So book quickly because they are selling out quite quickly as well. So that's across the UK.
All right, so then we got this one here.
Yes, so this is something new we're trying with Timeline events. These are meetups, and we're actually sold out. We've managed to get to the magic 100. So this is where we're going to be. It's at Papelwick Pump Station near Nottingham, sandwiched between Nottingham and Derby. And this is a Victorian old pump station where we'll have areas of the venue set up with lighting, models, steampunk, all different things where people can bring their kit along, get a free evaluation from ourselves. So I'll be working very closely with the Derby store, and you can bring your old kit. We'll evaluate it. You can either exchange it on the day, or we can, exchange it into new products as well. And in advance, if there's anybody that wants to try out any new kit, is to let us know as soon as possible, that we may be able to get kit in advance for them to try. But this is predominantly an opportunity for people to get an evaluation on their kit, and at the same time have a good day out on ourselves and Timeline events. And we're doing, I think, four or five of those. So the next one will be, I think, May, and that's up in Manchester at the Victorian Baths. So there's still quite a few tickets for sale there, and it's the same thing. And I think tickets are about 40, 45 quid normally. They're quite a bit more. So there's refreshments as well. So it's a really good day out.
Brilliant stuff. Okay. And the last one I've got for this, we've talked before we go on to the SWPS, was this one here.
Yes. So Tony, our store manager in Winchester, has been doing this for a couple of years now, and it's been growing. And this is the Hampshire Binocular and Telescope fair, or a small growing trade show, where we take over the Lakeside Country Park, and we've got lots of brands there. So there's Leica, Nikon, OM System, Opticron, Swarovski, Hawk, GPO, Kowa, whoever missed out, Vortex, Zeiss. Get a chance to test all the kit in an amazing backdrop with lots of wildlife there and fantastic deals as well. So in terms of product offering, if you're looking for some binoculars or telescopes, then come along, register on our website, and it's a 2-day event, and that's actually 25th and 26th of April, actually, when I'm on the Isle of Wight with the rugby tour.
Oh, right.
I won't be there.
Cool. Well,
there's always happens at that time of the year. But yes, a really good show to go and
events. They look great. They do look good. I like the look of them.
Yeah, if you visit our website and you click on the event, it'll take you to the Timeline event site. And they use reenactors. They use it's a really very honest kind of look at meeting up and exchanging stories, taking photographs, just full on. And with us supporting Timeline, you get a chance then to find out how much your kit is worth, or you've got kit lying about that you think, well, actually, I don't know where to take this. We'll bring it along and we'll give you an evaluation, and we'll advise you what you can do with it at the time. So yeah, a good fun day out.
Brilliant. I do love that. I know I kind of raved about it last time, but genuinely surprised at how sociable and kind of community orientated LCE is. All the different brand, all the different kind of stores that you've got, the 26 different stores, having those coffee and camera and what, I thought that is so valuable, having that. It really, I love it. I really do love it. And I'm noticing in the chat there's a few things going on about here about people wanting to meet up. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I love that about LCE. Brilliant. I really do.
Thank you. We want to grow that as well across the group. So actually, I've got some meetings next week where we're looking at working with stores, their ideas, and how we can make this organic across the group. And building on the strengths and talent we've got in our shops, and giving people access to be able to tap into that and find out more about products and techniques and so on. So watch this space for more of those to come.
Cool. All right. Well, let's move on then to the main event. Ta-da.
Yes, it's coming. 9 weeks to go. This is our first trade show that we've done for many years as a company, and I might have mentioned this in the last month, so apologies to those that tuned in. But LC are renowned for doing their small local shows in the past, and this is the first time we've had the opportunity to do something and build on it. This is the Southwest Photo Show, and it's managed with myself and the manager of Exeter store, and working with our local stores down in the southwest of England as well to make this happen. And we went live on the back of getting all the brands on board just before Christmas. And organically, we've got a website, we've got social media, and we're going, slowly ticking over. And tomorrow, we're going to launch the guest speakers, and come on to that in a second, and really up our messaging around driving traffic to the show. So this is take all the best bits of everything we talked about earlier and throw it into a more local regional show. We're again, that community feel. We want to reach out to areas of the country where maybe you don't get a chance to go to the photography show or those other big shows and so on. So we want to give something back to the community. So this is where you can come and get some fantastic offers. It's a great time of the year where a lot of manufacturers will have a lot of, value added offers, and we can do show offers on the top of that. But at the same time, not I suppose second tier to that then would be come and get inspired. And we've got 5 speakers that we're going to announce tomorrow, and 1 photographer who will be doing demonstrations throughout the day. And actually, we can do a bit of a reveal now because you've brought it up. There we go. So we can't announce them now, but actually we can announce one, can't we, Glyn?
We can. Shall I do it now?
Yeah, do it. Hey, there he is.
Hey, there we go.
So Glyn will be speaking at the Southwest Photography Show on the 24th of May. Just trying to get the dates right with that. It's in Exeter. It's at the Exeter Corn Exchange. Tickets are £5, but I do believe what we're going to do as well, we're going to offer a few free tickets today for those of you who are down in the southwest of England and do want to come along. So there'll be free tickets available a bit later. But yes, this is we'll reveal all the other speakers tomorrow. And they'll be shouting about it this week as well. So, Glyn, don't forget, if you could start shouting about your presence next week, that would be fantastic.
I definitely will.
And there's a small area for 50 people. So we'll put these on. That you have to buy a ticket for the show to be at the talks. And the talks are free, as you would expect being there. But that'll all go live tomorrow, and we can share that next time we meet up as well, and obviously you can share that on your social feed as well. So
I'm looking forward to it because obviously I didn't do something
it's going to be
great
great.
TPS, but you specifically said to me, do something different. Let's go for some. Just do something,
didn't we? Yes,
something you haven't done before. So that's what I've put together, and I am really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I am as well. And we're trying to do that with everybody that's attending. And again, we're trying to get a good mix of experience and inclusion and, different types of genre of photography, and let's see how it goes. Let's grow on it. But, this hopefully isn't going to be a one-off, and we want to be able to, drive this further in the future. And who knows, maybe across the UK as well. So we might be able to reach out to areas of the UK where we can, you'll have an opportunity maybe to do something like this without having to travel too far. So watch this space.
Hopefully. And a bit of a shout out as well, because obviously we've got folks who are in the chat there, nice and busy. We've got an international audience, but there are people who are based in the UK who would be kind of in this neck of the woods. It'd be great to come along. I've seen some chat going on, Mark, in the chat room there about people. I think Anthony said about it, organising maybe people meeting up for a coffee. So that's great to see that there's some sort of social going on there. But one thing I'll definitely want to do is after the show, have like a community get together, some kind of a meetup where, I don't know, people are coming along. Let's either go to a local bar and stuff like that and have a bit of a hangout, get some food, or go for a curry or something. Do you know what I mean? Maybe even go out and do some photos afterwards as well. So that's a bit of a kind of a shout out from me. If people are coming, let's get a social going. Let's get together. Let's be at the show. Let's do some stuff there. And afterwards, either go for a bite to eat. Let's just make it a day. Let's do it. I'm really into all this getting together stuff. I love it.
Well, it's a beautiful city as well, Exeter. So, what a great backdrop to be able to do something like that. I might have to join you a bit later because I've got a show to pack down, but I might have to stay over Saturday night now because of that. So it's a long journey back. But no, what a great idea. And that is actually the other feel to the show is it's an intimate kind of, we can only hold 500 people at any one time. We hope that we get a lot more than that throughout the day. There's areas to sit, break out, coffee, network, that kind of stuff. So if you're using it as a meeting place, then great. We've got a great trade show in one area. So look forward to seeing you. Get your tickets now.
Yeah, get your tickets, folks. Speak to some of your camera clubs and stuff like that as well. Mention to them. I mean, it's £5 a ticket. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh, and and if you do spend over £50, you'll get that money back as well. So we will refund you the price of the ticket. So actually, it's not really costing you anything. It's a great opportunity for us to register and make sure we know how many people are coming. And for £5, you get a great day out, and hopefully dwell time means you stay there for a bit longer than you may have planned. So no, we look forward to seeing people there.
Well, and also
and you
always, absolutely, and always think off the top of my head here, because it could be a bit of a drive for people. Here's a thought: if anybody is going to take a considerable drive to come down to the show and they're going to meet up for it, do a bit of social afterwards, if you want to make a weekend of it, I'm sure my friend Steve will be up for it, Anthony will be up for it. Why don't we organise a photo shoot, a seascape or something the day after so we can carry it on? Let's make a weekend of it, something like that.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, I'm up for it. Let's make it a weekend social, starting at the show, ending down on the coast on the Sunday. So that'd be good. Look forward to it.
Brilliant.
There you go. You heard it here first. But Mark, there's tons of stuff we've gone through there. Absolutely tons. I mean, yeah, really interesting. Really interesting to hear about the TPS, the photography show. Genuinely pleased to hear that there was a different demographic. That's really exciting going forward. Unsurprising for me, for somebody who'd be going to the show as well, to hear that numbers were down. I think that would naturally be the case anyway, with it being a different venue and certainly being London. That's just the way things would be. Let's see how it happens in 2 years' time. Let's see what they can work on for 2 years' time. But yeah, and lots of kit. That Fuji is definitely one that's interesting. But anything else that you want to? Any other news? Any other matters that you want to get out there, Mark, at all?
No, I think that's it for now. Otherwise, we'd be on them for another hour, I think. But no, it's great to be in an industry that there is so much going on, and it's been, it's quite. I don't know how. I've been in this industry now for 15 years plus, and it just keeps changing and growing. And I just think that the great things that happened at TPS is the sign of maybe where the industry needs to go in certain areas. And I think, it's great to be bringing a younger, more diverse, inclusive audience into this channel. It's a great thing. And, that's
Brilliant.
Again, what we want to try and do with SW, Southwest Photography Show as well, is to bring in a new audience, reach out to people that maybe not get a chance to go to these shows. But no, I think, let's wait and meet up again, maybe after SWPS, and,
sounds good.
Let's see what we can. We'll have definitely lots more to talk about.
I'm sure we will, mate. I'm sure we will. Listen, don't disappear. Go into the green room, and I shall close this down. I'll have a chat with you there. But Mark, from me and from everybody in the chat room there, thank you so much again for giving your time at the end of what's been clearly a very busy week post TPS. So thank you, and with obviously you not feeling so well, but very much appreciated.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Not at all.
All the best.
Cool. All right. Speak to you soon. Alrighty, so yeah, lots to think about there. Really interesting kit there. That's 8K camera, that Lumix. Wow, that's interesting how things are going there. But that Fuji, man, does that look nice? Very, very nice. So as usual, tomorrow when this recording has gone up onto YouTube, I'll create the blog post. There'll be all the links in there as well. The link through to the London Camera Exchange website where you can get details of all those community kind of events, get-togethers that they're organising, the in-store days, the coffee and cameras, the timeline thing, which this one's sold out, but I know you mentioned about another one they're going to be doing as well up in Manchester. So lots and lots of stuff to look at there. But also, and I'll reiterate what I said there about the Southwest Photo Show, come along. Do you know what I mean? If you're local-ish, come along. We'll have a hangout afterwards. Definitely do that. Make use of the show. Come to the talks. I'm going to be doing something different. I know who the other speakers are. I will be sitting in the audience, that's for sure. But it'd be interesting as well to get to meet the folks from LCE at the actual show. So come down. And if you're driving some distance or you just want to make a weekend of it, let's organise something for the day after. Let's make a full weekend of photography starting at the show. All right, cool. Well, there you go. So to wrap things up, a bit of a reminder again then. So it started today. I'm guessing now my first class is over. But they got the Photoshop Creativity Virtual Summit, an amazing show that Dave Cross puts together, show event, whatever. Incredible work that he does, him and his wife Marlene, putting this together so professionally. That started today. You can still get tickets for it throughout the week if you use that link there. I've also pinned the link in the chat room, and that will obviously be on the website as well tomorrow on the blog post. So there's that one. There was the pre-recorded video that I've got out this week where I'll show that I was editing a photo of my car that I took in South Wales at a fantastic place that they've used the roads there for Top Gear in the past. So I photographed my car there, edited the picture using Lightroom Mobile on the iPad. Blows me away that you can do that. And this is what we can do on the iPad, what we can do mobile now. today is the least we'll ever be able to do. It's just going to keep getting better and better and better. So that really, really is exciting. I haven't got a graphic to show you, but I know he's in the chat room. My friend Jay Grammond is going to be a guest with me next week. I'm very interested to talk to Jay about things he's been doing since I met him out in the States a good few years ago now, because I know that he's got books out. He's had like an exhibition. I just want to have a good chat with Jay to see how he's doing what he's doing, how things are going, what, you know, all that kind of stuff. I think it'd be really interesting to get to hear how he's progressed over the last few years. So that'll be good. And what else? What else was there? Oh, yeah. Don't forget, subscribe or click on the follow friend button, give it a like or whatever. Really appreciate it. So there you go. Cool. It's been a packed show with Mark there telling us loads of stuff. Folks, I'm not going to play out with Mark's promo because he hasn't got one. So I'm going to close this down and I'll see you next week with Jay. And if you don't tune in until the photography show, I'll see you there. Right. That's it. Folks, thank you so much. I'll catch you next week. Same time, same place. Me and Jay Grammond. See you later.